Okay. Hey guys. So we put some specialty hinges together for a customer. Kind of want to go over a couple of things. I did a couple things purposely not perfect, so we can see what the differences are. So here we got the 1 and 5 that bolts onto the gate upright. This is for a 1 and 5/8 gate frame, and then this is for this bolts onto the 6 and 5/8 post. I put enough bolts in here, so we got good purchase there. The longer hinge goes on the bottom, and then the shorter hinge goes on the top. So same deal. Just bolts to the 1 and 5/8 here, and the 6 and 5/8 here. So we had offset. The part on the gate is a little bit longer here than the part on the post, so that we could bring this gate more centered on the post instead of being, recessed from the fence and back on the post a little bit. So that should get you your center. Very important when you're setting these up that you kind of find center line of the gate, because you want these coming, you want the part on the gate, the tubes on the gate coming straight off the back of the gate. So we want to find center line of the gate and center line of this and line those up. And so then when we're bolting everything up, we kind of want the bottom parts when you close at parallel to each other. Now I offset these a little bit, and I'll show you why. So a lot of adjustability in these things. So if you can see on the bottom of the gate, you got about a 2-inch gap between the gate and the post, and up on the top you got a little over 2.5. So what causes that? Well, we had set this that way just a little bit. So as you can see, if this whole part here rotates around a little bit, it's going to take this and push it towards the gate, which is going to give you a bigger gate gap. Also with the gate, so if you don't have this parallel and perpendicular to the gate, the part that goes in the gate, and if this part is rotated this way a little bit, that's going to give you a bigger gate gap. So if you have to close in the gate gaps, you could actually rotate this that way a little bit, or this way a little bit, and then actually that's going to close up the gap. Plus you got your adjustments here, to make the gap bigger or smaller. Same thing down here. So we always want to try to start with parallel. So we got our gate is sitting plumb and whatnot. So it's very important that we do set these in the right location, 90 off the back of your, perpendicular to your fence line, 90 off the back of the gate. So, but you do have adjustments in there. If you were to rotate this a little bit that way, that's going to give you a little bit bigger gap. If I was to rotate this way, that's going to give you a smaller gap. So yeah, so just still got to get these painted and everything. I'm just doing a test on these. So make sure you can rotate these and make sure these are square. This nut's loose here a little bit. Make sure this is square to that. Make sure that's square to that. And that should be it. Bolted on. I don't know what the best way is, to be honest with you, because everybody's going to be a little different. Bolted onto the post first, and then bolted onto the gate. Or bolted onto the gate first, and then come over and get your gate placed exactly where it needs to be, and then bolted onto the post. I kind of did this by myself. Here it's a 15-foot gate, so it was a little bit awkward. And I'm not 90 to our fence line. I came on an angle here. So if we open up this gate here to where we're 90, and I know when I'm 90 when it wants to stop self-closing. So as soon as I'm 90 here, it'll want to stop self-closing. So that's our gate. We got about, on this one, we got about 12 inches of lift over the 15 feet. So if you need less lift, you can separate those hinges a little bit. So the further apart those hinges are, the less lift you're going to get, and the closer they are, the more lift you're going to get. So this is what they'll look like here and there. Got grease fittings on there so you can keep them greased up. And yeah, see, now it just went past 90. Now it wants to self-open. So we have to be careful when you're setting these. You know, people when they're closing them, make sure they got a stop on them to keep them closing too far. So if I take this stop away, now it has a potential to close further than the 90 or open the other direction a little bit until you start putting a lot of pressure on these. So you want to be able to stop them at closed and not let them go past that.